Hi guys, this is Simon for Thoman's Drum Bash at the very first EU drum show in Germany in Friedrichshafen, and I'm gonna look for a couple of artists here and ask them a couple of shotgun questions. Let's go. So what do you prefer more, wood or metal snares?
Definitely wood. Wood.
Wood.
Wood.
Oh my goodness. My signature snare is wood, but I've been playing metal more lately. So I'm going to go with metal.
In general, I would say metal.
Metal snare drums.
You know, it doesn't matter to me. I like both.
On average, I prefer a more dense wooden snare.
Metal.
Metal. Metal snare drums.
I would say probably the wood snare drum is good.
Ooh, metal. Metal? Yeah, I like the crispy sound of that.
I think I'm a metal guy.
Metal guy?
Yeah.
Depends on what I'm playing, but normally wood.
Maybe aluminium, which is like the consensus in between both.
That's right.
A very political answer.
And who's your favorite groove drummer?
Oh, wow. Many choices, but Jeff Porcaro, way up there.
The one who makes people dance. I really love the P-Funk drummers. I love the go-go drummers, you know, the typical go-go beat.
Jeff Porcaro.
Steve Jordan.
Steve Jordan.
Stanley Randolph. Just from like some of the videos, it's ridiculous how hard you can groove.
Steve Gadd.
Like a tie between Joost Nickel and Nate Smith.
I'm going to give it to Nate. Nate Smith, yeah. There's a guy here who I've been checking out recently. He's called Josh Nicole.
Okay.
And he's fantastic. I love him. I love his groove.
Chris Dave.
Chad Smith.
Joost Nickel, probably. Yeah, very appropriate here in Germany, but got to be Joost Nickel for sure. He wrote a book called The Groove Book, and I took a ton of grooves from it. He's incredible. Love Joost.
No, this is definitely Chad Smith.
Ringo Starr. And Steve Gadd.
Benny Greb for years, man. I love that guy.
That's really impossible. Like, really, there's, you know, Steve Gadd's got one of the greatest grooves of all time, as well as the drummers that you hear play with James Brown and Zigaboo with the meters and Bernard Purdy with Aretha Franklin. You know, it just goes on and on.
What's your favorite odd time signature?
7/8.
7/8.
I think I'm gonna go with 7/8.
7/8.
7/8, 100%. Yeah.
7/8.
7/8. That's everyone's favorite odd.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, everybody said.
Been doing this very rarely, a few times, but it could be the 5/4.
4/4. Actually, I like 6/4 a lot.
It varies. At the moment, 11/16.
It's a toss-up between 5 and 7.
5 quarters. 7/4. Just keep it simple.
7/8 or 6/8, because you can really groove on 6/8.
15, 16.
15 is a particularly good one because 15 is divisible by 5 and by 3. I can't limit myself to these questions about favorites.
Probably 5/4. 5/4. I enjoy having an extra beat instead of taking one away.
What is your go-to warm-up rudiment?
Pataflafla.
I'd say paradiddle.
Paradiddles.
Paradiddle, single paradiddle, double paradiddle, diddle combinations.
I think paradiddles in the hands and in the feet maybe.
But in the feet too?
Who does warm-ups? Just really basic singles, doubles, paradiddles, and trying to keep them even.
Singles, doubles, paradiddles for warming up, and at a really slow tempo, and just changing the note rate.
I choose warm-up stickings that even out both hands. So if you take paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, you reverse it to your left hand. So you have paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, boom.
Paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, left a diddle, diddle, left a diddle, diddle, left a diddle, right. Yeah.
It's called Rigondeau. French march, but it's a combination of different rudiments, and this is badass. I love it.
Not even a paradiddle, not even a single stroke, just 4 groups of 16s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this, just in the beginning to loosen up the muscles and then speed up the accents a little bit. And that's mainly the one that works for me. And it's very easy to remember.
6-stroke rolls or just single patterns and rudiments like paradiddles and triplets and whatever.
Depends on which mood I am, but also for what kind of shows I'm preparing. But lately I've been using a lot of singles, so I play in a live drum and bass orchestra. So what I play is, so it switches from left to right. So whatever I do with a warm-up, I always make sure it changes from left to right and incorporate a little fuga ostinato. So I kind of, start up my brain as well for what I'm doing.
A 6-stroke roll.
I love doing the warm-up, a lifetime warm-up by Tommy Igo.
Actually, I play in a Pink Floyd tribute band, so Nick Mason's playing is very, very relaxed. So I don't really feel I have to warm up for that. When I go on stage, I think my heart rate falls, actually, because it's so, you have to play relaxed to play like Nick.
Well, I don't actually play rudiments that much, so my warm-up is maybe a little bit too complicated to explain it here. But it's in my snare book.
And you can buy the snare book at thomann.de.
Yes.
Usually am working on some kind of sticking patterns that I use on the drums to give me like rhythmic and melodic options.
6-stroke roll. Absolutely. I just abuse it all the time, for sure.
I love the paradiddles.
I heard that in law school. What would you do if you would not be a drummer anymore?
I think I would teach, but different, like motivational teaching or so.
I would do something in an educational theme.
The first way was trying to get into law and do the judge job.
I love teaching.
An astrophysics teacher.
I have no idea.
Either a cook, a chef, or racing driver.
Either a drug dealer or a pilot, a fighter pilot.
A physicist.
I love history. I like, learning about history. Maybe I'd be somehow involved with teaching history, learning, and something like that.
Piano, for sure.
I was also actually really, and still am, into computers, so maybe something with IT as well. I don't know.
I would be a computer technician. Yeah, I am all about computer tech.
Probably a train driver.
I guess I'd be doing something with movement or something, personal training, teaching people how to use the body and mind connection.
I would be a stay-at-home dad, I guess, at the moment. Would take care of my kids.
A bass player, absolutely. Or a pilot, but certainly not a porn actor.
Not?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's rhythm, but there's no music. Sorry, we cannot actually. There's young people watching.
It was do or die for me. I was drumming and it was like sink or swim and there wasn't a plan B. I really don't know.
Maybe a carpenter or something, because I love working in my studio workshop, fixing preamps or fixing drums. And doing something with your hands that you can afterwards look at and telling yourself, hey, nice, I've made that.